On March 28th, 2022, it was announced that a deal had been reached between New York State, Erie County, and the Bills for a new 63,000-seat, $1.4 billion stadium in Orchard Park. While most Bills fans are in favor of a new stadium, many do not like the price tag that comes along with it.
It's always nice to have a new stadium, but I think the devil's in the details. And, I'm not a huge fan of how it's going down at this point with the PSLs and stuff.
Speaking of PSLs, the sales have not been going as well as the Bills probably would have hoped, especially in the second quarter. According to WGRZ, the second quarter of sales, which occurred between July 1st through September 30th, was opened up to lower bowl seating, and the team sold 2,293 PSLs, a 36% decrease from quarter one to quarter two. Vinny Chiarenza, an account executive with Legends, the company partnering with this new Buffalo Bills stadium, explained that the PSLs aren't as bad as the media is portraying them to be.
When it comes from Buffalo, obviously the personal seat licensing are a little bit different, right? It's a change. It's something that hasn't happened in Buffalo before, but has been going around the NFL with new stadium projects over the past, I would say, got it started up in the 90s with the Carolina Panthers and all the way until now to where now the Bills are going to be getting it with their new stadium. I think the receptiveness at first, I think people are scared when it comes from change, right? But to give you an idea, when people come in here and they learn more about it, when they come down the stadium experience, kind of outline it to them in a way to where, okay, right, it makes sense to do this, right? And to get them into their seats and want them to further their memories with the Buffalo Bills for the next 30 years.
Despite the price of PSLs and the increase in ticket prices, loyal fans are willing to spend whatever it takes to be at this new Bills stadium. However, that doesn't mean they're happy about the price tag.
Yes, I spend basically as much money as I financially could afford. I would save up lots of money. I am going to make sure I have season tickets next year or the following year for the new stadium because I just love the Bills that much.
The team didn't get all this money from the state and from the county. Then yeah, I could understand that they need to hit up the fans for a little bit more. But, it kind of, in the beginning when they were first talking about a stadium, to have a stadium with over 10,000 less seats and then them expecting to make so much more money, well, where's it going to come from? And, well, now we're getting the answer, which is the PSLs and also double the ticket price.
And I've worked with a bunch of fans already, and obviously there's a few that, when it comes from their most comparable fit, financially it just didn't work. And to give you an idea, right, we're going to find them a spot inside of the stadium, right? That's our main goal behind this. So I remind this to every single one of my fans to give them an idea of, look, our job is to make sure we get you a new home inside of the stadium. We want to continue to build memories for you for the next 30 years. And that's my job. And me being from Buffalo, and understanding how important this is to the community, that's something that I want to do.
While prices are undeniably rising, the passion from Bills Mafia means that the stadium should still be packed every Sunday starting in 2026. Alex, take us away.
Go Bills.
Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm your host, Caleb, and I am here with Michelle, Alex, and Colin. And today we will be talking a little bit about the Bills, NFL, Sabres, and also we'll be getting in some roundtable at the end about college football. But let's just start off with the Bills game. They played San Francisco Sunday night. Huge win, wonderful snow game. We'll start off with Colin real quick because there's also some breaking news about Micah Hyde signing with the Buffalo Bills, and we'll also ask him a few things about the stadium. Colin, what do you have to say?
Sure. So in terms of that news package with the stadium, I think PSLs, there's a lot of talk going around from the Bills, from the media, and it seems like we still don't have a fully clear-cut answer yet just because, as Vinny was explaining in the video, things change once you go to the Bills Stadium experience. And while for some people the money still doesn't work out for them and they have to maybe relocate to a different area of the stadium for their season tickets, there are a lot of people that are able to financially cover the price, set up payment plans. And Vinny was telling me stories about how there are a couple people surprised that it wasn't as bad as they thought it was going to be. Now, that's obviously not the case for every seat, and that might not necessarily be the case for you, the viewer, who's watching this, if you're a season ticket holder. But I think we should hold off on any definitive opinions until each person knows a little bit more about their PSL and what what their price for their seat is going to look like. That being said, you mentioned the breaking news with Micah Hyde today signing with the Bills practice squad. The Bills get veteran leadership back with Micah. He has expressed interest in wanting to be a coach after this year when he said he's going to retire. So this could easily just be a preview for him on the practice squad, taking guys like Taylor Rapp and DeMar Hamlin under his wing, coaching them to the best of his abilities. I don't expect him to play much. He'll probably be more of a break glass in case of emergency type safety for the Bills. It should still be Rapp and Hamlin starting. I expect Cole Bishop to stay on the roster as the primary backup, and I expect Hyde for the remainder of the season to stay on the practice squad unless there are injuries.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And hopefully we don't have to break the glass this year as we have in past playoff runs. But Alex, what did you think about the offense on Sunday night versus San Francisco?
Josh Allen.
I mean, he has been playing at an unreal level. He just won AFC Offensive Player of the Week, well deserved. He became the first first quarterback in NFL history to catch, rush, and throw for a touchdown in a game. Absolutely electric. Yeah, he didn't have the gaudy numbers because it was snowing the entire game. There was points where you could barely even see the field from the stands, but he was very efficient with the ball. 13 for 17, had some really nice throws down the field, a couple to Dawson Knox. Obviously, he had the 2 touchdowns passing. One was he threw it, and then he ended up catching it on the lateral, which you can make an argument being the play of the year. One from Amari Cooper being able to catch that pass, and then 2, Josh Allen to make a touchdown out of that. Absolutely electric. And then what doesn't get talked about enough, in my opinion, is the touchdown to Matt Collins. Perfect throw. You could not have thrown that ball any better. You had to throw that back shoulder where only Matt could make a play on it. He made a beautiful play, and that was the touchdown that broke the Bills' total touchdown record from Jim Kelly. So congrats to Josh Allen. I mean, really an insane week, breaking Bills record, AFC Offensive Player of the Week, getting engaged to Haley Steinfeld. I mean, just what can't this man do, for being honest?
It's a good question. And hopefully the one thing he can do that he hasn't done yet is one MVP, and he's well on that way right now. Michelle, what did you like from the defense on Sunday night?
Defense, we did really great. The only thing we struggled with was getting their run game down, but I think we can work on that. Teron Johnson did a really great job, and that was the only thing that I have to say is just the run game. We just have to work on filling in those pockets and not letting them get through.
Couldn't agree more. The run defense needs to continue to improve and did look better in the second half of the game, but hopefully we see more and more improvement from those defensive tackles with Lil Wayne coming back next week. So just going to the preview, week 14, we played the Rams. I just wanted to know, Michelle, who is your X factor for that game and what's your score prediction?
I can't say anybody else but Josh Allen, obviously. Crazy game. My score prediction is 30-20 Bills. If we have a game like we did last week, I think we're going to have no problem.
And how about you, Colin? Who's your X factor and what's your score prediction?
I'll go with a score prediction of 31-17 Bills. They've scored 30 points in every game since the bye week, starting with 4 games before the bye week. We had the bye week, and then obviously San Francisco being the first game. Technically, we have scored 30 points every game after the bye week. My X factor, I'm going to go on the defensive side. Greg Rousseau has had a great season so far, leads the team in sacks with 6.5, but he's really been our only consistent pass rusher this season. So I'll say Ed Oliver. If he can step up and have a big game pressuring Matthew Stafford from the interior, that's going to mean he has less time to hit his targets. We know Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua are going to have a lot of receptions in this game. So if Ed Oliver can have a game this season that we can talk about, it should be this one.
Yeah. Alex, 2 things. 1, what's your score prediction X factor? And 2, what's the notification you just got from Jeff Passan on your phone?
I don't know. I'll check that in the break. I'm probably going to kill you.
No, you might want to check it now.
Oh, should I check it?
Yes, you should.
I should.
Yeah, I'm gonna kill you. Like I said, I'm gonna kill you after this.
You are a dead man.
What is it?
I'm not. I don't need to tell you. No. I hate Juan Soto. You're officially dead to me. That's all I'm going to say on that. But my X factor is Teron Johnson. If he can really shut down Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, I think they're going to play a lot of them too in the slot, trying to keep him away from Christian Benford. I think he will be able to hold his own. And because of that, I have the Bills winning 35-24. I am going to kill you though, Caleb.
So let's just say one of us, maybe me, might have created a fake Jeff Passan, accountant, tweeted that Juan Soto signed a 14-year, $680 million deal with the Red Sox. Alex, Yankees fan, not excited. I am, however, excited for this Rams game where I have the Bills winning 34-20.
You made a fake account for that. You
Just for you, Alex. Anything for you.
wow. You really wow. Lame.
And now we're going to transition over to the NFL segment. We'll be back in just a moment.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's lumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do,
13. And then
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
NFL season, the NFL MVP race is really starting to heat up.
the MVP race is between two players, Josh Allen, Saquon Barkley, and Lamar Jackson. They all have exceptional numbers, as Lamar Jackson has 32 total touchdowns and 6 turnovers. Josh Allen has 27 total touchdowns and 7 turnovers, and Saquon Barkley has 1,766 scrimmage yards and 13 touchdowns, which is on pace to break multiple records. According to some NFL fans, there is only one right answer.
For me, it's a pretty easy choice at this point. It's Josh Allen. I mean, the Buffalo Bills are 10-2. They're playing at a really high level, and the expectations were low going into the season.
My pick for MVP is Josh Allen because no team relies on a single player more than the Buffalo Bills do with Josh.
Josh Allen should be the MVP for the simple fact that he's done way better than Barkley in every aspect with a lot less. I mean, Barkley has the O-line, Allen doesn't. That's it.
Most of the NFL agrees this way, that Josh Allen is the heavy betting favorite, as he is a minus 190 odds favorite according to FanDuel. He is the heavy favorite despite not having the best stats because he has led his team to 10-2, the second best record in the league, despite the departure of many key pieces, including his top 2 weapons, Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis, in the offseason.
There are 5 weeks remaining to determine who is the NFL MVP. From Broadcasting Buffalo, this is Alex Miley.
Thank you, Alex. Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider for our NFL segment. I'm your host, Colin Ritchie, joined by Alex, Antonio, and Spike. We'll have some playoff predictions for you in just a moment. But first, while on the topic of the MVP race, you heard my opinion that should be Josh Allen. But Antonio, who do you think should win MVP at this point in the season?
Just like we saw in the video, I got to go with Josh Allen. Everything I've seen from him, the way he's been carrying things around for the offense on the Bills, leading them to being one of, if not the best team in the NFL right now. Just everything he's been doing out there on the field, I'll have to go with him.
Now, Spike, you are our resident Jets fan. So while the rest of us have bias for the Bills, you have bias against the Bills. Is Josh your MVP pick, or are you inclined to go with someone else?
I would very much like to go with Josh Allen. It seems like the obvious pick, but for me, I have a dark horse haunting in me that always has this love for Lamar Jackson, and I believe he really can get it this year. Record-wise, it's not looking too great for the Ravens. I mean, 8-5 is better than anything I could ever witness. But for them, it kind of just feels a little slow considering how he's playing. I mean, second in passing yards for the year, 29 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. It's insane play, 116 QBR. I mean, if his team was performing just a little bit better, it would be a lock for him. But with what Josh Allen is doing single-handedly just launches him ahead. But if there's going to be anyone else to win it, I fully believe that Lamar Jackson could have it in the bag, seeing how the rest of the season goes.
Now, we are only going into week 14 with 5 weeks remaining in the regular season. However, with this being our last show of the semester, it's time for some playoff predictions. So, Alex, we'll start with you. 1 through 7, what does your AFC playoff prediction look like?
So I have the Bills getting the 1 seed. They just are playing the best football right now. I think even if we lose a game, we can still get it because the Chiefs, I really think they lose 2 more games. But with the way the Bills have been playing, I think we could even beat the Lions. Not saying I predict that, but it's definitely a possibility. So even at 14-3 or 15-2, I think it gets it. Then I have the Chiefs as the 2 seed. I have the Ravens still getting that 3 seed. I think they beat Pittsburgh the second time. I really like the Ravens have an easier schedule rest of season. Then I have the Texans winning that division. I mean, that's pretty simple, that the rest of the division is not very good. Then I have the Ravens or the Steelers then getting the 5 seed. I have the Chargers then getting the 6 seed. And then a surprise, I have the Colts actually getting the 7 seed over the Broncos, because spoiler alert, I think the Colts beat the Broncos this weekend, and then the Colts play the Titans, the Giants, and the Jags after this. So or not next week, the week after. Colts are on a bye this week. So I think they get it because of how easy their schedule is after that game.
Just following up with you, Alex, like on that point, what are you seeing from Denver, maybe either offensively or defensively, that gives you less confidence in them riding this streak out to the end and making the playoffs as a wild card team?
I just don't trust Bo Nix. I know he's had some really good games, but he's also had some really poor games. Like in this Cleveland game, he had one good throw, amazing throw to Marvin Mims on the 93-yard touchdown. But outside of that, he was pretty awful. The only reason they won that game is because Jameis Winston threw 2 pick sixes. Jameis Winston decided he wanted to be Jameis Winston and give that game to Denver, but he didn't. Bo Nix looked pretty bad in that game, so I just don't trust him down the stretch, and that's why.
Okay, thank you, Alex. We'll move on to the NFC now. Spike, give us your NFC predictions.
For the NFC, I have the Lions locking themselves into that 1 seed. I feel like they've done everything they needed to deserve that. And especially with going up against the Packers, if they can take that one away, I fully believe that they can go on and continue with the 1 seed. The Eagles, 10-2, they've shown some spottiness throughout the season, but still they're going to be in that top 3 spot. They're getting that 2. It's interchangeable between the Lions and the Eagles, but I fully believe the Lions are locking themselves into the 1 seed. For anyone below that, the Seahawks seem to be taking a grip on that division as everyone just keeps this kind of be slipping up a little bit. But the Seahawks do have to take care of business against Arizona, as they could be creeping up. Nothing is a lock for them. They are, compared to the other teams in the NFC, they have one of the lowest percentages currently make the playoffs with under 50%, as where the Falcons are sitting at 57. I believe that's flip or flop. I more so believe in Baker Mayfield to really take the Buccaneers to the place they need to be, and that would be at the top of that division. I think the Buccaneers can sneak right into that spot, win the division, take it from the Falcons, and everything below, I believe, is guaranteed lock with the Packers and Vikings. The Lions are going to take that division. The Vikings are 10-2. They've been playing excellent football all throughout the year. Even with Sam Darnold coming off of the hotness that he was at the beginning of the season, they're still playing great. And the Packers at 9-3, the closest 10 NFC teams to them are 6-6 Bucks, 6-6 Cardinals, the 6-6 Rams, and the 5-7 49ers. I don't see any of them jumping those spots. The biggest issue would be with the Commanders, and I also believe they might have that locked. So the way it's looking, the only thing I would change is the Falcons with the Bucks, and other than that, everyone stays where they are.
Curious on your thoughts, because the Falcons seemed like they were pulling away with that NFC South lead. They had 2 head-to-head wins over Tampa Bay, and then Tampa Bay loses Chris Godwin to a season-ending injury, and Mike Evans misses some time as well. Now suddenly they're both sitting at 6-6, and like you mentioned, the Buccaneers have a chance to leapfrog the Falcons. Do you think the Buccaneers are a better team than the Falcons, or the Buccaneers are just more well-equipped for the rest of the season to win the division?
I believe it's a little bit of both. I trust the Buccaneers offense just a little bit more than the Falcons with how Kirk Cousins has been playing recently. And their refusal to use, I think it's Brian Robinson. I get them confused between Bijan. Thank you. I get them confused between the Commanders running back as well. For some reason, they just really love Ty Algieri, and they just don't want to give Bijan the minutes he truly deserves. And just Kirk Cousins giving the game away last week. Now they have to play the Vikings as well, as where the Buccaneers, they're getting Las Vegas and they're getting Mike Evans back. Such a huge target for Baker. Those two are on an insane connection. I think it's just the cards are falling in the favor of the Buccaneers as the season goes on.
Kirk Cousins definitely not playing his best football right now. 4 interceptions in that loss to the Chargers back in week 13. Antonio, your turn. We heard an AFC prediction. We've heard an NFC prediction. Can you give me your biggest surprise wildcard team that you have in your playoff predictions?
Ooh, I don't really know if it'll be a surprise, but I would say I think the Ravens are going to play a lot better going into the playoffs. I like what Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry are going to do. I would like to see Lamar Jackson run the ball a bit more to really mix up the other teams' defenses, because I think when the both of them are a running threat, I feel like it targets everyone to like be afraid of the running as well as the throwing. On the other side, I wouldn't say like a surprise in a good way, but more like in a bad way. I would say that the Vikings are going to have another playoffs where they go out early. As much as, Justin Jefferson, the offense has been looking good. I don't know. I'm still not a believer in Sam Darnold. He hasn't really been playing as well as he was to start the season towards now. I think it's going to continue that way, and I think when it comes down to the big-time games, he's just not going to be the guy that the Vikings had hoped he could be when it matters most.
Now, very quickly, before we close the segment here, I'd like to get on the record our Super Bowl predictions, at least who would be playing. If you want to pick who's going to win, that's fine as well. I'll say Bills over Lions in the Super Bowl. Alex?
Yeah, I mean, the smart part of me wants to pick the Chiefs because why bet against Pat Mahomes in the playoffs? But I'm going to be biased here because I want to. So I'm going to pick the Bills over the Lions also.
Spike?
I'm going with Ravens, Lions, and I'm taking the Lions over the Ravens.
Antonio?
I'm going to go Bills over Lions as well. I think this is finally the year the Bills get over that hurdle. I just like a lot of what I've seen from them. And I think it'll be a good game, but I got to go Bills.
Thank you all for joining us today on the NFL segment. We'll be back with more Buffalo Sports Insider and talking about the Buffalo Sabres after this.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Hello. And welcome back to the Sabres segment. I'm your host, Michelle. I'm here with Alex, Thomas, and Colin. So we're going to be talking about the unfortunate events that the Sabres have had the past couple of games. The past couple of games we played Minnesota Wild, Vancouver Canucks, the Islanders, and last night, Avalanche. So we're going to start off with the first three. Thomas, what is one thing that you liked about those games and one thing that you saw we needed to work on?
I felt like the goaltending was pretty solid in those games. It kept us in a lot of those ones, especially the ones where we got shut out, which were the Minnesota Wild game and the Islanders game, 1-0 and then 3-0. Gustafsson got a ton of shots faced in that Minnesota Wild game, so I really liked what the offense brought in that game. Just couldn't seem to finish those plays realistically. And that's another thing that I want to get into the bad side here is realistically they need to be better at putting the puck in the back of the net, especially when you have, I think it was 39 shots in that game. You got to at least put one by Gustafsson. I understand he's been having our number as of late, but still, that's a game where you really got to get a goal. And on top of that, the other games where the offense just couldn't really get much going. I mean, you had the game there where they lose 3-0 against the Islanders as well. So realistically, there's a lot more that this Buffalo Sabres team has to get done, especially on the consistency of that offense.
Exactly, I agree. Colin, I'm going to ask you the same thing. One thing that you liked those games and one thing that we could work on.
Sure. So dating back to last season, when the Sabres made that trade with the Colorado Avalanche, sending Casey Middlestat to Colorado for Bo Byram, I was not a fan of the trade. I was a big Casey Middlestat fan, and I thought we needed more talented scorers on this team. And to this point in the season, yes, we do need more scorers, but Bo Byram has been one of the lone bright spots on the team defensively. I think he's played extremely well, especially when paired with Rasmus Dahlin as a defensive unit. He had 2 blocked shots against Minnesota, 21-25 in ice time. Against Vancouver, he had a goal, 3 shots on net, and a block against the Canucks, 26-18 ice time, and then 2 blocked shots against the Islanders, 23-28 ice time. So not only is he playing well, he's finding the back of the net, and Lindy Ruff trusts him to get top defensive minutes. And then for the negative thing, obviously, Thomas mentioned the goal scoring. They're not scoring enough goals. But once again, I'm just going to harp on the power play. The special teams this year has not been good for the Sabres. They went 0-2 against the Wild, 0-5 against the Canucks, and 0-2 again against the Islanders. That is unacceptable in a 3-game stretch to go 0-9 when you're desperate to score goals. You have the opportunities with an extra man, and you can't capitalize.
Colin, did you have a fun fact that you wanted to share?
I did have I wouldn't call it a fun fact. I would call it a not so fun fact. Yes. So we all know what happened against the Colorado Avalanche last night. The Sabres had a 4-goal lead. Chase Georgiev out of the net. Former Rochester American Scott Wedgwood came in, and the Colorado Avalanche came back and won 5-4. That is the 4th time this season that the Buffalo Sabres have chased a goalie. They are now 1-3 this season when the team they are playing against has switched goalies mid-game. They beat the Rangers after chasing Shesterkin, but have lost to the Penguins, the Canadiens, and now the Avalanche after chasing a goalie mid-game, which is just ridiculous to even consider is a real fact.
Thanks, Colin. That's insane. I don't even know what to say. Now we're going to move on to Alex and just let it all out. Alex, tell us about the Avalanche game.
I'm so sick of this. I'm so sick of this team. Screw everyone, fire everyone. I'm done. I'm just sick of it. I was in 2nd grade the last time the Sabres made the playoffs. I'm about to graduate college. This isn't Terry Bagula. Please sell the team. Stop. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of it. It's so frustrating. Every year, build up hope, and then it just gets squashed. We're not even 25 games into the season, and it's already basically season's done because this team is just so pathetic. I'm just so frustrated. I'm done with it.
Oh, can I get an amen?
Yeah, I agree. So frustrating to watch. Up and down every game. It's just a roller coaster. Moving on to tomorrow, we play Winnipeg Jets. Can I get a prediction? What do we think is going to happen, Thomas?
I'm going to go ahead and say 3-1. Winnipeg gets it done. The defense is tightened up. Luukkonen's a good goalie. I think we'll do solid in this game for the most part. However, again, back to that inconsistent offense. I don't think the offense is going to get much going. We had our good offensive game in the last game, so I doubt that we score a single goal in this one. I'm going to go ahead and say 3-0. Winnipeg shut us out with Connor Hellebuyck.
Colin?
So I've learned my lesson with
the Sabres. I've started to pick up on what they do. You know, they have lots of peaks and lots of valleys. Just when you're ready for the season to be over, you swear you're not going to watch another game. They pull you back in. And this is the perfect opportunity to do that against one of the best teams in the NHL. Winnipeg 18-8 this season. Connor Hellebuyck, one of the best goaltenders in the league. The Sabres are going to win this game because that's what the Sabres do.
They're the most bipolar team in sports.
I'll say they beat the Winnipeg Jets 4-1.
I'm gonna go with we lose 6-0 because we suck.
Okay.
I'm gonna say 2-1. Sabres. I'm going with Colin. He's gonna reel us back in. Alex, you might be able to put the jersey back on tomorrow.
Probably not.
Maybe. That is all. We're going to move on to our next segment. It's about college football. We'll see you next time.
You wouldn't do that. So why do you do this? Distracted driving kills an average of 9 people and injures over 1,000 every day in America. Put down your phone. Lives depend on it. Don't drive intoxicated. Don't drive intoxicated. A sobering message from AAA.
How was school today?
It was good.
Did you play volleyball?
Yes.
How's your serve coming? I think we'll work on it this weekend.
Amy's slumber party is this weekend.
Is your homework done?
No.
That was the deal we made. If you do...
Hi, Lauren. My name is Katie. We're gonna take care of you, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Welcome back to Buffalo Sports Insider. I'm your host for this segment, Nathan Palmer, joined by my man Alex Miley, Sebastian, and London. We're going to talk about the college football playoffs this year. There's been a lot of shakeups this weekend with the loss, with the Miami's loss, knocking them down to 12. There's been a shakeup with Ohio State losing. Sebastian, who do you think fares well to win the national championship right now in the top 12?
Not to be biased or anything, but I could see Penn State going very far. They are currently ranked the number 3 team right now. Definitely have been having a pretty good season, pretty good run. Offensively, they're there. They have Nick Singleton, Tyler Warren, Drew Aller. Tyler Warren has been breaking many different records for Penn State this season. On the defensive side of the ball, they got Abdul Carter. He's just been having one heck of a season, leading sacks. The pass rush game is just there. Defense is definitely just going to be a huge key factor for them in this playoff run if they decide to really take it all the way. But at the end of the day, what is James Franklin going to really do at this point? Is he going to take it to the next step, or is he just going to go down a bit on the coaching? So I really feel like it's a coaching point at this fact if they want to take it to this next point.
That's a good point. That's a great point. London, what about you? Who you think fares well to win a national championship this year?
I'm taking the number 2 Longhorns, man. I'm taking Texas, man. This team, they dominated the SEC. The SEC. You know, I mean, they do have a tough game against Georgia coming up on Saturday, which really, whatever team loses, I mean, it's not going to affect really too much about the college football playoffs with either team. I think they'll still be top 10 teams. It's just going to affect a little bit of who plays who after that. But I'm taking the Longhorns, man. This team, they're confident. I feel they're confident. They're a confident team. They're a well-coached team, and I feel they play disciplined to a point. I'm taking the Longhorns, man. Taking the Longhorns.
Okay. Like you, Alex.
Am I the only one that's going to take the current number 1 team in the country, the undefeated Oregon Ducks? I mean, they just played in the Big Ten, and they just dominated through the Big Ten. They've beaten multiple teams that are going to make the college football playoff already. They beat Ohio State. They beat Boise State. They beat Michigan. Like, those are all quality teams that they've all beaten. They have Dylan Gabriel, who's one of the best quarterbacks in the country. He's extremely clutch. They have weapons to throw the ball to in Evan Stewart. They have a nice running back in Jordan James. They have some good offensive linemen. They have some defenders. They're just extremely well balanced. And they're the only undefeated team in the FBS. They're the number 1 team in the country for a reason. So, yeah, because of that, I'm going to go with the Ducks to finally get a national championship as they've been longing for a long time.
I agree. I gotta agree with Alex, man. Oregon been just dominant, pure dominant all season. I think if they did face a team like Georgia in the playoff, I think that could be one team that could trip them up. But other than that, I don't see any other team tripping this squad up. And so I think that'll be all we have today for this segment and this episode for Buffalo Sports Insider. This is the last episode, so we want to shout out some of the guys. You know, come on in here.
Yeah.
We got the whole crew.
Yeah.
So shout out, yo. Make sure y'all shout out y'all social media. You know what I mean? Let people know where you're gonna be at, where you're gonna be. Alex and Thomas has a podcast. Shoot that out real quick.
The Sports Lab podcast. You can find it on Spotify and YouTube.
Yes, sir.
One love. Peace.
Goodbye, Alex.
Bye, Alex.